Good evening. I'm Bryce McLeay, and welcome to Outside the House, the unofficial Big Brother after show. We're less than a month away from crowning a winner, and while the committee has successfully shielded themselves from eviction thus far, there is now nowhere to hide as the first ever triple eviction descends on the Big Brother house. So, after 3 evictions in one night, who will become the next big target? We'll find out soon enough. But first, let's eavesdrop on the Outside the House team. First up, as always, is Rachel Swindler.
Hi! Oh my gosh.
Hi. Wow, that was ecstatic, exciting. Are you excited?
I am. I'm excited to a certain extent.
Okay, all right. And say hello to Mark Herman.
What the hell was that?
I don't know. But you guys, let's get started. But all right, tonight we are joined by a very special guest. Not only is he Nicole and Devon's former housemate, he's also Cody's brother. You know him from BB18. Please welcome Paulie Calafiore. I can't even speak.
What is up?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here. Paulie, first of all, is it nerve-wracking to watch your brother and your friends play this season?
Honestly, it's really not that nerve-wracking. Like, I've been on enough of these things. Like, we all know the deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, in a perfect world, I would have loved for Cody, Devon, and Bailey to work together, but they knew the deal going in. I'm like, would love for you guys to, work together. I'm like saying this in my head, but I'm like thinking to myself, well, I mean, I don't know how the cards are gonna fall, and I know I've played. I've never played with Bailey, but just from like kind of talking to her outside of the house, like I know what kind of player she kind of is, but I for sure as hell know what kind of player my brother is. And the one piece of advice that I would have given to them if they had spoken to me was never say his name because he has a great social game and it's gonna get back to him.
Yeah.
But it's not nerve-wracking at all watching him. I mean, it's been an entertaining season. I love each and every person that's in that house. I think that they all bring a certain level of entertainment. I think they're all all-stars minus David and and a couple other people who I think are past their prime. But anyway, we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about that really quickly. Like, did Cody, did he want to play differently going into this season as opposed to his last season? Did you guys talk about that?
So the only advice that I said to Cody was, we come from athletics. We overanalyze everything that we do. When there's mistakes that happen, we wonder why those mistakes happen. Why did we lose? What can we do better? Why can we win? I mean, he just came off of watching me run War of the Worlds 2, and I was like, hey man, this is exactly how I did it. So, I think you know exactly what you're doing because without him, the hitmen don't exist. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, just do you play your social game, be very likable. If you win a bunch of comps in a row, play dumb so that everybody thinks you're stupid and just fade away into the darkness. And he's been executing his plan like damn near perfect. And the way that this triple eviction played out is in his favor in so many ways because he just won back-to-back comps. And then as everybody will sit there and be like, oh man, 4 comp wins, blah, 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 blah. Well, who just won back-to-back comps in the triple? Tyler. So that's going to immediately be in people's minds. And it's just like, I don't know. I get excited watching great gameplay happen. I know a lot of people are kind of pussies and like participation trophy-esque. So like, instead of just saying that a group of people never won comps and they sucked, they're crying because we're watching one of the most dominant alliances in Big Brother history in terms of wins. And we're watching some of the most dominant gameplay. And a lot of the Big Brother alumni complaining about the gameplay, they would fucking probably get eliminated first or second week as well.
Great way to put it. I mean, and I've been saying this, Paulie, I have a question because did you watch BB20?
I watch BB20. So like Tyler and Casey are some of the best players, like they're comp beasts. So the fact that you got Tyler, who was a comp beast on Big Brother 20, you got Cody, who was a comp beast on Big Brother 16, you got Danny, who was a comp beast in her days, which once again, didn't really show this season, but you got some comp beasts in there. So like how can nobody appreciate the fact that Cody and Tyler are passing off wins back and forth in this kind of capacity in an all-star season while kind of like waiting to take that perfect shot at each other? You know what I mean? Like, you can't write that shit.
No. I was just curious if you feel like there was similar gameplay going on right now as in level 6 in BB20, just because I see similar gameplay in the sense of a big group of people staying together and actually getting far in the game. Even though, myself and Winston got cut early, everybody made it to the double eviction. 4 of the members did, at least in this scenario. How many members of the committee are there? 6?
Yes.
I think there's
so
5 or 6,
all
right?
6 members, have made it to the end, which is extraordinary. So that's why, right. I mean, I have to say, like, kudos to Cody and kudos to them. Like, how do you get that far? I mean, level 6 wasn't able to do that. Did Cody? I'm just curious. Did y'all think of anything about a level 6 alliance, or like how that kind of?
I mean, not really, because the Bomb Squad in Big Brother 16 kind of changed the game on the format of New School Big Brother.
True.
So, and I think that the reason for that is because a lot of the newer house guests that come to play only really watched Big Brother 16. And, not taking a knock at like newer players for not educating themselves on past seasons, but, if you're coming into the quarantine part of Sequester and all you're watching is Big Brother 16 and the most recent seasons, you're going to naturally, it's psychology 101, right? You're naturally going to look and try and emulate something successful for yourself. So that's why you see these big alliances since Big Brother 16 start picking each other, banding together and picking off the outside players. And it's and Big Brother's a game of social power, right? Mm-hmm. So like, if you're a comp beast, you're going to surround yourself with other comp beasts because you can't play back-to-back HOHs. It's a very different format than the challenge, where you could just say fuck you to everybody, because if you keep winning back-to-back comps, nobody can do shit. In Big Brother, when you're off the chopping block, somebody else has to be able to protect you. So that's why you saw a lot of strong players migrate towards each other, and it worked out in their favor because they just kept winning, right? Yeah. Like, if you want to shift the power in the house, win an HOH. Fuck social game at that point. Win an HOH. Like, since when did everybody become such fucking pussies? Like, oh man, I feel so bad for this person. Like, they could win an HOH, and like, they could put 2 people that are not in their alliance on the fucking block. And I swear, like, these Big Brother alumni who get evicted early, like, they're such bitter fucking losers. And it's like, I respect the fuck out of them as players, but like, just admit you lost and you got outplayed. Like the way Ian did, like a real fucking champ. Like, oh my God, I feel so much better that I actually got outwitted and outplayed. Like, that made him feel better that he got outplayed by a better group of people. Like, why is everybody else crying like little bitches?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I do agree with you, and I think what we've seen with this new season is kind of that, like, butted heads of the old school versus new school we've been talking about this whole time. But I actually have a very serious question that I have been wondering, and I want your opinion on it, Paulie. Who do you think Cody is truly loyal to? Because he is in all these alliances. Obviously, his social game is incredible. But like, I've been asking Twitter, I'm like, who is Cody really loyal to? Like, who is he going to take to final 2? Who moving forward after this eviction? After we just to recap, we saw Kevin, David, and Danny exit the Big Brother house this episode. But how is Cody going to move forward?
Dude, I mean, I think people really need to go back and rewatch Big Brother 16 and understand how his social game is played. Like I got a little emotional when I saw Danny get upset, being like, that genuinely hurt me that Cody voted for me, because I looked at him like a brother. His social game is so good that people become so close to him, and he has to make these hard decisions at certain points in the game. Like Big Brother 16, he had to make it with Caleb, which I know gutted him, but it was the best decision. And moving forward, he's only thinking, who am I going to sit next to that I'm going to win? So even though he seems like very loyal to Enzo, seems very loyal to Nicole, even has stuff with like Tyler, Christmas, and Enzo, and Memphis, he, like I said, comes from athletics. So when he is making that decision for that final two move or those moves leading up to the final two. He is 100% picking the person that is not going to allow him to lose a second time in a row, because he went in and I told him, I'm like, look, man, like, you know what to do. Play up the loyalty aspect. Have everybody want to bring you to the final two or have, be close with you because of that loyalty aspect. And when it gets to that final three, you make that fucking jugular cut and you fucking bring whoever is going to get you that 500K. And you make the cuts beforehand too, which is why even though everybody wanted Nicole out, Nicole's not winning shit and nobody in the jury house really likes her. So Danny, if you're sitting next to her in a final two, she's winning. And Cody, even though that hurt him very badly to vote that way, he had to do it because that's a smart, emotionless decision, which is what is needed to be successful in the game of Big Brother.
So who should Cody go to final two with?
I would say at this point, either Memphis,
Yes.
or if he brought Memphis or Nicole to final two, he's winning guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
If he brings Enzo, I still think he's got a good shot of winning, but it's not as clear cut. It could be like a bitter jury situation. If he brings Tyler, once again, that's a toss up.
Yeah.
Because it could go either way because they're both beasts. If he brings Christmas, I think he also has a good shot of winning.
I think Tyler's his biggest competition.
It is. Yeah. Tyler's his biggest competition.
100%. And
I also think that I wanted to ask you too. Like, I mean, obviously his social game is incredible. There's no doubting that. I was wondering though, do you think that could be a detriment to him because Danny took it so personally? Is that going to make her bitter against him in the jury house?
I know it hurt Danny, but at the end of the day, Danny's probably one of the most savage players to ever play the game.
Yep.
And if she had to make a decision, she would be heartless. So right now, it definitely hurts, and she's definitely upset about it. However, once you get to the jury house, I mean, Rachel, you know the deal. Like, like even whether
I don't because I was with you before.
No, I'm not talking about the jury house. I'm talking about like the longer you go after like you're gone, like the less you really hold it against you. Unless you really got nothing else going on in your life, which, not to call the kettle black, but most Big Brother alumni on Twitter don't have shit going on in their life, which is why they live there. So, it just is what it is.
Paulie had a great conversation about that today.
I'm sorry, you're broke, you're unsuccessful, you weren't memorable on your season, so you just talk shit about people who do much better than you on your season. Like it is what it is. And the Big Brother, and like that's why I laugh, because it's like you're catering to a small percentage of a fandom on Twitter who is also broke and does not pay your bills. So what are you actually giving a fuck what they think on Twitter? Like, if you really want to make money, go everywhere else on any other platform, or just get any real job in real life. Like, unless you have like a podcasting show or a YouTube.
Oh
no!
No! There we go. Okay, sorry. Paulie, we lost you for a second. Hang on, start over. We lost you for a second.
Oh wait, are you back?
Am I back?
You're back.
You're
Sorry,
back.
we lost you for a second.
Sorry, yes.
No worries.
My family and my friends are calling me probably to talk about
this. Oh, God, yeah. We know you got to go soon.
No, it's all right. I don't have to go for that.
You still have 10 more minutes to
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, I think Danny, once she has like 1 or 2 weeks to really look at what's going down in the jury house, she's going to be like, you know what? He had to make a move that was good for his game. As other people go to the house, like, let's be honest. Like, from here on out, anybody that goes to the jury house is a comp beast that was playing to win.
Yeah,
a lot of people, other than Ian in the jury house, everybody else in the jury house really wasn't playing to win. They weren't. They came on here for a different purpose, which is respectable, but you weren't playing to win. You were playing for a different purpose, which, once again, we can respect that, but just say your head wasn't in the game and you came here for a different purpose. Don't try and make an excuse as to why you lost.
When you spoke to Cody before he left, was he like hell bent on winning this season? Was he just like, hey, if I win, it's okay?
No,
or was he just like, no, I'm gonna win this season?
No, he's hell bent. He is like,
oh, okay.
He's like all these people that called me, that said I was Derek's puppet, didn't realize that his game doesn't exist without my game. Like, I'm going into proof point that I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yep.
And that was his main
Well,
goal.
he's really proving it. He's totally proving it this season.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all even in our first episode, we talked about how we thought Cody was going to win. I mean, he had a really good shot. I think there is something to winning the first HOH too. But I do want to go back to because at the beginning, Cody was the HOH at the very top of this episode. So do you think that it was the safe move to and get rid of Kevin for him to get rid of Kevin, or do you think he should have taken like a shot at the committee at that point?
I'll go get a table.
Last week.
Okay. I think that I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
I was just asking if you thought that he should have made a move going against the committee in his last HOH, or if
absolutely not. I think he won the HOH at the perfect time, because there were still outliers of your alliance, and he made the perfect decision. And then winning that veto, or should we say David dropping the ball on that veto, really allowed him to once again keep his cards hidden. And I was sitting here on tonight, I was holding my breath, not because I thought he was in a place of getting evicted. I was holding my breath being like, Cody, win nothing tonight. Like, win zero things. And I don't know if you noticed in that last video competition, he started out very slow on purpose and then sped it up to make it look like he wasn't throwing it. But those are the kind of moves and little nuances that, I'm sorry, most of the Big Brother alumni and fandom have no idea, because they suck at the game and never fucking do good. And they're not all-stars. And I'm sorry, cry about it all you want. I'm going to hype up my brother. I'm going to say he's a sexy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kiss that motherfucker on the mouth when I see him. Wet as fuck. And I'm going to be like, congratulations on your $500,000 that you got in the bank, and going down in history as one of the fucking goats of the game. And that's just period. Like, I don't give a fuck what it couldn't have worked out any better. The only thing that could work out better is this next HOH if Nicole or Enzo wins it. So that he could be playing in the Final Four HOH, which then leads him right into automatically being able to play the Final Three. So he could technically win out from Final Four all the way to the final. So if if Nicole Lorenzo wins and it goes down to 5, oh my God, like, come on.
Yeah.
And if that person is Tyler, like, game over.
He's positioned himself so incredibly perfectly that I can't imagine. I really can't imagine Cody not being in the final 2. I mean, straight up.
Especially at this point.
Just the way that he's positioned himself. And I saw during the HOH, I don't know, Cody, if you sorry, Paulie, Jesus Christ.
It happens all the time.
Freudian slip.
Okay, if you saw this, but he didn't want to win that HOH, right? Because he was like, oh, Jesus Christ, because it was like down to him, Christmas, and Tyler.
Yeah, he did not want to win in any of that stuff. He
didn't need to.
I don't even know if Cody actually knows how good of a position he's in the sense that, I'm watching, I'm like, all right. So and like, factor in the fact that some, once again, broke ass loser yelled over a wall, and fucking he still fucking somehow sunk into the darkness of like, get off of people's radars. Like, you don't understand
that
how
was
hard
weeks
that
ago
is to do
too.
with the paranoia of the Big Brother house, and like people talking about that, being like, oh shit. And he was somehow able to sink his way back, like that, like, come on now. Like, and whatever anybody wants to say about who he targeted, he has gotten out every single person that has mentioned his name. Anybody who said the name Cody in any conversation in a way other than, I like Cody, I want to play with Cody, I want to work with Cody. Anybody that said his name, it was a death wish. You're going home. Like a silent assassin. He was pulling triggers on everybody.
Right.
sorry. Oh, Jesus Christ, Paulie. Why do I keep calling you Cody at this point? I know, and I mean, this is so embarrassing for me. I'm so sorry. Pina Elsa, I don't know if I'm saying that right. She said the only time he might be in trouble is if Christmas wins. She would definitely put him up against Nicole. Do you agree with that?
I think with how the votes happened, with how the votes happened on the Nicole and David eviction, I think that raised some eyebrows. Christmas is a very analytical player. She is constantly talking to herself about what the options are, and she's pretty on the money with it. And time is going to tell, because if she won the HOH right now, possibly yes. If you give Cody any amount of time to kind of talk to her, smooth it over, do whatever you got to do, like it is what it is. He respected the HOH's wish, right? Didn't give didn't show any other cards, just made it clean sweep for Danny, right? When he could have just voted for Nicole and just kind of been like, oh, what the hell? So once again, he's just got to fall back into the darkness for the next HOH, and just smooth things over with Christmas to make her feel a little bit more confident. A conversation a day, keeps the eviction away. You know what I mean? If you have a conversation with everybody every single day, and it's just a genuine conversation, it's just going to put people at ease, and it's going to let you sink into the darkness, right? If you're constantly talking about game, you might get in trouble, right? If you're talking about like genuine stuff, I mean, that's how I ran War of the Worlds too. I didn't have game conversations. I had genuine conversations with everybody in my alliance. And then when it was time to make strategy decisions, everybody trusted me in what I needed to say. And I think Cody's been doing that very well, which is why when he goes to talk to an HOH, they hold his opinion at much higher value, which is why he's had a hand in every single eviction.
Yeah. Right. There was a question here, and I just want to, sorry, Bryce. It says, can you ask him why Cara Marie and Paulie will not come back to do another season of MTV The Challenge? That's just like really random. So I just thought I would like.
It's really random. I mean, we can't talk about that. There's a lot of things going on, that we weren't aware of, that we are now very aware of. It's opened our eyes to a lot of things. And now we have like a lot of projects going on. I mean, Rachel, I told you earlier, something that I'm training for. I can't talk about it, and I'm not going to talk about it. But we have a lot of amazing projects and a lot of businesses that nobody knows we started October of 2019 that are flourishing more than ever. And we have a lot of amazing opportunities that we're going to be going for in the future. And, like, look, we're not production. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what our opinion is on why, on things that have happened in the past, it's our decision moving forward.
Yeah. And, reality. I agree with you. Reality television is it's like a time in a season. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, whenever it benefits you or whenever you think it's going to benefit you in your life. So I 100% understand. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, Rachel.
Dr. Rachel.
By the way,
Dr. Rachel.
You'll get
I'm surprised that you haven't brought up the voicemail that I left you earlier.
Oh my God. It was so amazing. He left me a voicemail today, and it was like this whole entire accent. And I was like, what is going on right now? I didn't even know Paulie could do this.
What kind of accent?
I was inspired because Rachel does a lot of acting things like that she'll do on her reels and things. So I was like, she might find this humorous.
Yeah. It was like, oh, hello, Rachel. And I am leaving you a voicemail because. And I was like, oh, hello, Paulie. It's so nice to talk to you.
Good day, miss. Carry on now. Yeah,
I said, good day. How are you, Paulie? It's so nice to talk to you. So we just had a fun little banter back and forth earlier today. So
that sounds really really nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Paulie, I want to switch gears real quick to Nicole, your BB18 housemate. We saw her on the block twice tonight. What advice, if you could give her any advice, what should she do moving forward? Win.
I mean, I 100% will say win, but I will also say stop fucking crying. Like,
yeah.
I'm
sure.
sorry. I don't, you know.
Are y'all cool?
Problem, I mean, I'm like Cody and Nicole are cool. I mean, I haven't talked to Nicole since Big Brother 19 premiere. So it's been a while. Sorry. Yeah, okay. Big Brother 19. So that's like what? 3 years ago? Yeah, it's been 3 years since I've spoken to her. I mean, like, look, I don't wish ill will on anybody who chooses to go into the house and play again. But like, if you're gonna go and play, like, go and fucking
really
play.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, stop crying. You're a former winner. This is your third time playing, and just fucking win. Like, that's what drove me insane about all these other fucking people, like, complaining about shit. It's like, just fucking win.
Yeah.
Like, and when it's time for you to go, just like fucking, you know, take it on the chin and be like, yeah, fucking, I lost. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, Cody, final question. Oh God, Jesus, now you got me doing it, right?
You got it from Rachel.
It's because our voices sound like.
Paulie, if you had to pick somebody other than your brother to win this season, who's still in the house, who do you want to see win?
Honestly, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Christmas Tyler win.
Wow.
If it's not Cody, just from like a gameplay standpoint, you know what I mean? Like, I like competitors and I like people that go there to win. And there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, everybody that's still there right now is playing to win, in my opinion, and has been the entire game, which, like, to stay locked in this long. But from a standpoint of, like, looking at people who win comps and also have been playing a good social game and good strategy game, like, I think Tyler and Christmas have done enough to, like, earn the nod. You know what I mean? Like, Tyler won another comp tonight. You know, so that brings her up to 3 comp wins, I think, on the season.
What about Enzo? He's won a lot.
Not in a while, though.
No, he won like one HOH, right?
Won like
one
2.
veto.
He's won like 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Enzo win too. I mean, like, probably that's it. I basically named everybody except for Memphis.
Yeah, you basically made him.
Yeah,
but Nicole.
So, yeah.
It's just you're looking for comp beasts, people that can prove themselves.
Yeah,
and Tyler was great on my season. He was a comp beast. I mean, and Christmas was, well, she had a broken leg, but you know,
clearly Christmas can win a competition.
But Christmas is proving herself. I mean, she gets very excited during competitions. Like, I can tell. Like tonight,
exactly. and she gets pissed when she loses.
Woo!
She's
tonight,
competitive as
Christmas.
fuck.
Yeah, and Christmas tonight, you saw her. She was in it to win.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I loved it. I get hyped when I see people get fucking pumped.
I mean, I was hyped too,
you know
but
I mean?
I mean, she was in it to win it. She was like, "I will win this competition, and I will succeed."
I mean,
Rachel does a great impression of Christmas.
Christmas is a competition beast.
Paulie, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We know you got to go, but we really, really appreciate you giving us some insight on your brother. We wish him the best of luck this season. We're rooting for him. You guys, please go follow Paulie at Paul Calafiore on Instagram and Twitter. We want to make sure to also tell everybody about your Roar Challenge and how they can train with you too, right? On that on your website as well.
Yeah,
correct?
I appreciate that, y'all. Yeah, just go to awaketheline.com. You know, I'm trying to eliminate the participation trophy mindset and the cheap mindset. I'm trying to build some fucking monsters, some fucking winners. If you want to change your mindset, if you want to make some fucking money and get fit while doing it, hit me up.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Paulie.
Thanks, Paulie.
All right,
Bye,
guys,
Paulie.
thank you. Love you guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
Woo!
Oh my
That was
god,
That was
Well,
crazy.
you said, Rachel, you said it wasn't going to be boring.
I told you it was going to be a fucking shit show. Sorry, and there I cursed.
It's contagious. Next week's going to be even crazier. So
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone needs to tune in. We can't talk about it yet.
But
Right,
we
no,
will
we
talk
can't.
about who our guest is next week. But guys, here, let me look in the camera. Guys, our next week's guest is a guest that hasn't been on any other Big Brother podcast. Okay, so think about it all. Think about Fire Away. Think
Yeah.
about all the Fire Away. Think about all the other podcasts that are out there right now. Okay, no one has had this guest on next. So just think
Ooh,
about that
Rachel,
for a
that is a
second.
tease.
That's a
and a
deep
half.
tease.
All right, you guys. I do want to go back. I want to get your opinions on this because I feel like this was a huge episode. I don't know about you guys. Even though it was so predictable, I felt like I was still on the edge of my seat, like going crazy, sweating. I don't know, whatever. But I wanted to know, Rachel, who do you think was? I mean, aside from the obvious, were you most surprised by Danny's eviction? Do you think, or what was the most surprising eviction?
I wasn't surprised by anything. Okay, I was really annoyed throughout the entire time. So when Tyler won HOH, I was very excited because that was one of at least the 4 people I wanted to win. When David was evicted, I was like, well, of course he was fucking evicted.
Yeah.
So then when it came back time for it, I wanted Danny to win. I really did because I wanted a male to go home tonight. It was very important for me for a male to go home. That didn't happen. So when Tyler won HOH, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be Danny and Nicole, but I have faith that Danny can win the veto.
Rachel, do you think that was the right move for Tyler? Do you think that he should have nominated Danny and Nicole as opposed to Memphis or someone else?
Well, okay. No, I think he should have nominated the men. I think that he could have proven himself to the women, quite possibly, because Nicole is way more loyal to the men. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But I think he could have ruffled a little more feathers. Had he put up Memphis and Cody, I think that could have been very interesting.
That would have been really interesting. Mark, were you surprised? Were you surprised about anything tonight?
No.
I was surprised at how many cookies I was able to stress eat during that episode.
I'm not kidding. Are you? Don't you feel the same way? I was like, this is so predictable. I know exactly what's going to happen, but I was still like, oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Like
Can we shout out the people watching? There was 40. It went down to 39 right now, but I just want to shout out to the 40 people that were just watching.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining in with us on this.
Oh, Rachel, look too. By the way, Clinton Merchant, who was on our last week's, said, Rachel, I just want to say thank you for boasting on my confidence on the show, auditioning for BB Plus. You look 100% beautiful. I'm handicapped with showing the world I can do it. That's so nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Gosh. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead. Did you think so? I was surprised. Both. Not surprised. I shouldn't say that's the wrong word. We shouldn't be using that word. But like, I think that I really thought that Nicole was going to go home over David. I really thought for a second. I was like, this is so stupid if they don't send a former winner home. And I like Nicole, as I've said a million times, but like that would have been a game move. She is a winner. She is a former winner, and you have her on the block, and you have someone else, David, who has been so like moldable, who's floated loyalties all over the place. I have no idea. I mean, I'm at least glad that Tyler and I thought Christmas voting for Nicole was crazy, but I got to give Christmas credit. That was the right thing to do.
True.
To vote for Nicole over David, and she did the right thing.
Wait, I lost. I'm sorry, I was like gone. So who?
It was a Christmas miracle.
Who voted for Nicole out? Tyler
Christmas and Tyler voted Nicole out.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was big. And, that's going to come out. She's going to, here's the thing. The issue, if Nicole could win, if she wins in HOH, if she could win, she would, that would really come into play. But it kind of goes back to the whole thing that happened with Ian getting evicted, which was that, this whole point, it was all pointless for Nicole to be like worried about where she voted or who the vote was, because Kevin, Devon, or David never won HOH. So the only reason why this would come into play is if Nicole wins HOH or wins a competition. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, clearly.
Wait, Christmas voted Nicole out? Why the hell? Oh
yes.
My God.
No, but Rachel, that was smart, wasn't it?
No, but like, why did Enzo?
That's what I'm saying. Everyone was so mad at Enzo. Everyone was so mad at because the only other vote was Cody. Well, it was Cody and Danny, so they weren't going to vote for Nicole. But if Enzo had voted for Nicole, that would have been. I mean, I don't know.
Well, clearly Christmas, and I will get that to Christmas. She took the opportunity as it was when they saw that triple eviction fly up on the screen. They said, "How?" And I literally said this in my tweet. I said, "Do you think if the house guests knew that this was a triple eviction, who would they actually vote for?"
Right. Who do you think, Rachel? Like if
they should have got Nicole out.
I think that would have been the best move.
Yeah, that would have been the best
if you know that Nicole's not coming back, I mean, she's going into the jury, but if you know Nicole's not coming back into the house, why would you vote for her to stay? Get her out. She's a former winner. She's a threat. Get her out. Wait, David is not a threat.
They didn't tell them about that they weren't coming back until at the end of the episode, right? I mean, it really didn't tell them before the third eviction.
This was a very frustrating episode.
Well, okay. Also, Rachel, I want to ask you because I know that you have been very vocal about wishing that the women would work together, and we saw at the very end before Danny was evicted that she told Nicole as a last-minute strategy to go after the only other girl in this house or in the house, which is Christmas. What do you make of that? What do you make of that sort of beef? Because Danny was clearly more upset with Christmas than really anybody. And I just want to know your thoughts.
I mean, what happened this past week with them? Because there was something that happened this past week with them, correct?
Well, I think Nicole, correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat, but I think Nicole actually planted seeds against both Christmas and Danny and said both of them are coming after each other.
So with Nicole planting those seeds that Christmas was going to be coming after her, I think that warped her mind in a certain sense. And I think that Nicole just has this way to get under people's skin to make them feel like you're okay with her, like everything's okay. And she's on the block with her and she's playing the victim and she's crying and she's being upset. And she's like, I'm so sorry, and this and that. And I just think that with the way that Nicole planted the seeds and said, about to Christmas, and I think that probably that Danny could feel that. I'm sure she could feel that energy, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that is not shown on camera. It's the waiting in the HOH rooms. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of time off camera that people don't see. And I'm sure there is a sense of something that you can feel from somebody else's energy. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there was energies being felt throughout the day, if you will. Well,
and that's really interesting. A really interesting point that there is a lot of downtime. And what people probably don't know is that, when they do I mean, we know it because like if people are watching the live feeds, that people know that they are happening. But I mean, basically they do they do nominations and veto very quickly. And then you have about 4 days to just sit there and not, then you're waiting until the live show to evict. Yeah. So it's like, there's so much time that can happen. And like you said, with feelings, it certainly, there's no question about that. There's certainly going to be people that are going to, you're going to feel something. They're going to have to crack at some point. These people you can't be in a house that long. And these people aren't that good of actors. I mean, sorry to say, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Mark, what do you think? Well, yes. I mean, aside from you, but Mark, what do you think about Danny telling Nicole to target Christmas?
I don't know. I'm just still flustered from tonight. It's been a long day.
Why are you frustrated? Why are you flustered from tonight?
I work in television production and I know. Just the triple eviction in the background.
We'll talk about that because a lot of people talk about exactly what we were texting about. Because I think a lot of people would be interested in that. You're a television producer we'll say.
Whatever. I do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, Mark is a jack of all trades. So tell us like kind of the things that you were noticing in the episode. We don't think it's live. We don't think it was live.
I don't think that was live because they didn't say live at all. They usually have a little live chip that comes up and they're giving their speeches at the end. But just that, I mean, there was an incident a couple weeks ago where they were able to see Julie on the monitor in the house and they were able to read her lips, but they didn't cut the camera in time. So they were like, oh, someone's working, like Danny's working with someone or something like that. And it's just like these little things that I feel like almost has as much impact on the game as the people who yell over the wall, but it has a lot more gravitas, a lot more credibility because it's production. It's stuff that they shouldn't see in the house. And I really don't know how, I think tonight would have gone completely differently if they didn't see that triple eviction in the monitor behind Julie.
That was very concerning.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Do you think things would have gone differently, Rachel? Do you think that maybe?
No, because I'm sorry. Here I go again. I wanted them to know about the triple eviction. So I was actually very happy when that happened because I was like, fuck yeah. Sorry, I said the F word, but like, F yeah.
Fuck, Rachel.
We're fucking done with that. I mean,
yeah,
we've already lost
tonight. We've all said fuck.
Okay, well, listen, I was just like, thank God that they know about the triple eviction. They all went, but all I was thinking about was like, how the hell did CBS not catch this?
I know that was
so funny.
All right, I do want to ask you, Rachel, how do you think the dynamic is going to shift now that we've seen Kevin, David, and now Danny leave the house? Who is going? I mean, is it really going to depend on who wins HOH? What's?
It's going to depend on who wins HOH. Like it doesn't. I think if Enzo's I don't know who everybody wants to go after at this point because they have to go after each other.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Right.
But I mean, we've got 2 women in the house. We've got 4 men. So, right. So I think that the men are going to stick with each other to a certain extent because I mean, we've got Tyler and Christmas as final 2. We've got Memphis in a final 3 deal. Everybody wants to take Memphis. Everybody wants to take Memphis. If I was in that house, Memphis would be the first person I would make a final 2 with.
Really?
Nobody likes him.
Yeah.
I don't like him. Who's going to like him?
True.
I mean, like him and I mean, Enzo is very likable. I don't know if I would want to go to the final 2 with Enzo. It would depend on how I felt in the house.
I agree with that. Paulie said that, and I was I would not want to go to the final 2 with Enzo. If I was in the house, I would not want to go to the final 2 with Enzo, Cody, or Tyler.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas could be a bit of an argument, but Memphis is the number 1 target right now to go to the final 2 with. Memphis is not going anywhere. Memphis is going to the final 2 because he is so unlikable. So whoever is sitting next to Memphis will win. Big Brother 22. I'm just saying it right now. That is my personal opinion.
Here's the other thing that like I will say, I mean, I try to be positively optimistic every goddamn week, but it's like, okay, at least now I feel like everybody sort of has different targets. Like it really depends, like what you said, Rachel, it really does depend on who wins HOH, because if Tyler wins HOH again, well, he won't win HOH, but like if Memphis wins HOH, it's going to be different than if Christmas wins HOH and vice versa. It's going to be like different. I think it will be different in that regard. I do want to ask Mark, because I know Mark, you love David. Do you really think
David Alexander?
Dr. David, but do you think he told Julie, he was like, I really thought, winning would have been amazing. Obviously, winning would be amazing no matter what. Do you think that he actually thought that he could win?
Yeah, I really think he did. You don't go in there to lose. I mean, no, like that's a loser's mindset. You don't want to go in there in that frame of mind. I think it kind of dissuaded people from keeping him with what he did during OTEV, but I understand, he wanted to make a donation to a cause. I don't know if they showed it on the show itself, but on the feeds, he said he won the money to donate to, I think, Black Lives Matter or another one of those charities. So that's, that it's his money. He can do what he wants with it. And, he made a good case. He saw there were plenty of people up there, but other people didn't really see it that way, but I don't know. I think he really thought he would win, and I'm sad we lost him. I was hyping it up with you all week in our group chat that he needs to win HOH. We need that chaos. Yeah. We need that big David energy to shake up the house.
I wanted that David energy. I tweeted out about David, and I got some really bad blowback from it.
Really? Why?
A little bit. I just said, and I just want to say this because this is how I truly feel. Yeah. I said, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but David was a recruit, which he was. He's a recruit. Of course, he doesn't know or can't comprehend aspects of the game. He hasn't watched the game. I said, happy for him that he was able to redeem himself, because that doesn't happen often, but I find it slightly offensive at how much of a struggle it was for him. Do your homework, study multiple seasons before an all-star season. No shade. It's just disheartening as a fan, because for me, it's very hard for someone to sit there and go, it was very difficult for me because I didn't know about certain things going on in the house and how this happened and how this happened. I go, well, that's not our job to teach you. It's not, you know what, that Tyler knew, that Nicole knew, that Danny knew, that Enzo knew. It doesn't matter. If I was a rookie who was recruited going into a game, who I was recruited for in BB21, I would literally, before I went into BB22, I got the call. I said, I'm going to an all-star season. I would go, holy shit, I got to get I got to get together. Like, I got to watch this season. I got to watch, like, why not do that? And that was the most frustrating thing for me. And then I get stupid fucking comments like, oh, well, you were a flop. Oh, well, you're, and I'm just like, that is very annoying for someone like me who is a true Big Brother fan and who respects this game more than anything in the world. And to hear people just say stuff like that, like, it's just annoying. Sorry.
No, I agree. And I think, Rachel, that's first of all ridiculous, because you were not a flop. It was like the other thing is that you are like, you know, as a historian of the game. I mean, you watched all the seasons, you've done your research, you know how people play, you can read people. There's a difference in what you're saying about David, because it's completely legit. He needed to study and become like the all-star, quote unquote, as best an all-star as he can, being a recruit and coming in the next season. I mean, you can't just play this. Now, listen, the only thing that I'll give David credit for is the fact that his ignorance and like his ignorance is bliss thing actually worked out in his favor, because he really was so, like I said, malleable, and he was able to waffle between different people and to different alliances, and no one saw him as a threat except for like Memphis, which was absolutely ridiculous. And so it is that is the only thing that I feel like
Nicole and Memphis were I'm sorry, Nicole and David were Memphis's biggest targets.
Yeah.
That way.
So stupid. Dumb. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And like the other thing too is like I really had, you know, I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I just sort of wish that we would have seen a, you know, like a Danny win, or even a Nicole HOH, only because, or I mean, aside if like David, you know, if like
we needed a Danny win, we needed a Danny win.
We needed a Danny win when Tyler won. We really needed a Danny win. And that would have shook up the game, I think, as most as you possibly could, because going now, you know, it was so predictable. And I mean, it was exciting. It certainly was exhilarating. And I hope that CBS does more of these in the future, because I think it was really good.
It wasn't exhilarating.
It was real. I mean, regardless, you said it wasn't exhilarating.
I wasn't exhilarated. I was annoyed.
I was exhausted.
I was so exhausted by the end of it.
I mean, it's got like, we're in quarantine. There's no fun anywhere. Like, let's just hold on to this real hard.
Are you just, Rachel, are you sad that Love Island is over?
Rachel,
I actually very much am, but I'm so excited. The Bachelor Ed is starting soon, so that's all I care about.
Okay. So you guys, really quickly, let's. I'd like to end the episode once again with final thoughts. I want to know, Rachel, who do you hope wins HOH this week? And Mark, everybody, who do you hope wins HOH?
I don't really have any like.
Okay, well, if you don't have anyone who you want to win, who do you want to be evicted next? Who do you want to be evicted next?
I want Nicole to be evicted next.
Okay.
I'm sorry, not Nicole. want Nicole or Christmas. So I would love for someone who's going to get Nicole or Christmas out. I want Enzo to win HOH. That is is my goal. Yeah.
Do you think that Enzo would target? I mean, Enzo probably wouldn't target Nicole, but who do you think he would target if he won HOH? Probably Christmas
I think Christmas and maybe Tyler.
Yeah, probably Tyler, because I'm thinking like if he'd probably say Tyler's just targeting Christmas as a pawn.
Yeah, but I think Christmas would go home.
Or Memphis. Well, he's in 2 alliances with Memphis, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that Christmas would go home, and I just want any scenario. I just want Christmas to go home.
Okay, Mark.
Same. And next week, I'm actually really hoping that we just get BB23. At this point, that's what I'm looking forward to next week.
We just announced the cast for
BB23. Surprise! It's a twist. Everyone's gone. We extended the production. Yeah.
I agree. I think that it would. I would like to see Christmas or Memphis. Obviously, I mean, as much as I don't know. It's hard. It's like for some reason I want Tyler out, and I don't know why. Because I think he's playing a fantastic game. I just think it would be interesting to see him. Well, I just think it would be interesting to see him on the block.
It would be. Because he's never on the block.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be really interesting to see him on the block and him to like see how he plays when he's backed into a corner. Because we really haven't seen that from him ever. And so I think that would be interesting. But I agree with you. I think I really would like Christmas or Memphis to go home. I really wanted them to go home on this tonight.
Can I just like reenact how Christmas was this entire episode? Yeah. It was like very much like
Rachel.
Yes, I will win HOH.
I won HOH.
No, dude, when that veto, she was like, I want veto. And then it was just like the HOH, she was just like false. And she was like, oh, true. And then she was like, oh, no, I'm false. Okay. Oh, wait, I got it right. And then she was like,
remember in the veto? She was like, oh, darn it. Like she fell and she's like, darn it.
Oh, shucks.
I feel like she really snapped her fingers at that point.
I just feel like she was just in it to win it the entire time. And she was just like, I will win the HOH and the veto at every point that I come. That is Christmas to me.
I mean, she was really she was certainly on one today.
She was on one. She said, I better effing win. And if I don't.
All right. With that, that's our show. Once again, if you don't want to miss a moment, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit the notification bell. So there we go. So now we have multiple things. So when you can take part in our live episodes. Subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts by searching Outside the House in the search bar, and make sure to follow the show on Instagram at From Outside the House and on Twitter at Outside BB House. And also our personal socials are plastered all over those accounts too. We will see you next Thursday right after the eviction, guys. Let me just tell you right now, you will not want to miss next week's episode. Our guest next week is the biggest Big Brother All-Star of all time. Follow our socials for announcements on who it will be next week. You won't want to miss it.
Subscribe, hit the bell.
Yes,
everything.
You're going to want to do all of that. Once again, a huge thank you to Paulie Calafiore for being with us. You can follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Paul Calafiore. And Paulie, like he said, go to his website. He has a lot of links and stuff. We'd love for you guys to check that out. So it's the Roar Challenge and where you can potentially train with Paulie. Also, everyone, please go check out Rachel's other Big Brother recap show, Armchair All-Stars, on Tuesday nights, only on the TV Co app. Rachel, how many other podcasts did you do this week?
I've done, I'm going on Reality, which is another podcast tomorrow.
No, but did you do Caitlin's podcast last night?
I did. I got oh my God, that was crazy. I
don't know why. Real quick.
My boyfriend, his son passed away actually.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
A couple of years ago. And they actually had readings from him last night. And it was
oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, it was actually really crazy last night. So it was really cool.
Well, guys, go check that out on the TV Co app. Finally, a quick little shameless plug for myself. My podcast, The Nobodies, the new season premieres tomorrow on all podcast platforms. We talk politics, pop culture, the usual crap. We're kind of like The Daily Show, except worse. Or I mean better. Anyway, thanks, guys, for being here. We'll see you all next Thursday from outside the Big Brother house. This has been Outside the House. Good night.
Night. Thanks for watching.